This is my quick review of Self-Reliance. Self-Reliance is written and directed by Jake Johnson. It also stars Jake Johnson, who most people know as Nick Miller in the show New Girl. That's where I first discovered him and came to think of him as a hilarious comedic performer. And so I'm just sort of in on Jake Johnson and wherever he goes in his career now. This movie is his directorial debut. So this is like the most control that he can have over a story. And so I was really curious to see, like, all right, Jake Johnson, what is it that you're really into when a story is entirely yours that you want to tell? And the story that he tells is basically a quirky, comedic take on the most dangerous game. So the movie starts with his character, who's sort of a down on his luck, schlubby guy, which is the Jake Johnson special, has Andy Samberg playing himself pull up next to him in a limo. He's like, "Get in," and he gets in, and Andy Samberg takes him to this warehouse where he meets two strange guys, and the guys basically are like, "Hey, we want you to be part of our contest, and the contest is some people are being hunted, some people are hunters. If you can stay alive for 30 days, you get $1 million." And Jake Johnson's, of course, hesitant about this, putting his life on the line, but he figures out there's a loophole because they're not allowed to, the contestants who are hunting aren't allowed to put anybody else's life in danger. So as long as he's right with somebody else, they can't attack him. So he's like, no problem. All I got to do to survive for 30 days is be around other people. I think this is an interesting concept. The problem is his character doesn't have a lot of personal connections. His family doesn't believe him because this is a ridiculous scenario saying, "Hey, Andy Samberg picked me up in a limo and took me and got me signed up for this game show where people are trying to kill me. I need y'all to stay with me all the time." Of course, they're like, "You're crazy. I think you need some help. Go see a therapist, and we're not going to stay with you all the time." So then it's basically about how Jake Johnson fills his time trying to keep people around him. For a while, he hires a homeless guy to hang out with him, and actually, they tend to bond and get along with each other. He spent some time with the character played by Anna Kendrick, and she's always fun in movies, although it's always kind of ridiculous when um, somebody's played by Anna Kendrick with her charm and, of course, attractiveness. And it's like, oh, she's also a lonely person who just needs someone else in her life. In the end, though, this movie had a lot of interesting concepts, I think, but it just doesn't ever really do a whole lot with any of them. It's a lot of just sort of downtime in this movie. And then it also goes back and forth on whether or not this contest is even really happening or whether he's an unreliable main character who's hallucinating this. And frankly, that's just never something I really enjoy in a movie. I don't want to be guessing, like, okay, is this real or not? Am I just wasting my time watching something that's being hallucinated? And then also, not a lot really happens throughout the movie. So it's played up for some of the, typical Jake Johnson, Nick Miller esque quirky humor. But in the end, honestly, I think it's kind of a forgettable movie. So I give this movie a C minus. I would love to know if you see this movie, what you think about it, and if you came to the movie for the same reason that I did, if you're a Nick Miller from New Girl fan, and how that informs how you watch this movie.